That thing, that was no dog. That was too big to be a dog. That thing was bigger than me.
911, what are you reporting?
I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
Two of them across the creek at the big rocks.
Now, improvised search parties are attempting to find it. Just what it is, no one is sure.
And then creatures actually exist.
It's winter, December 12, 2014. A 60-year-old former Marine and his wife are driving their truck down a lonesome road in the town of Carmel, located in Ohio. Sounds like the setup to a horror movie, right? A couple, alone on the road, on a dark winter night. If this was a horror movie, they were bound to run into something unexplainable on the road that night. And they did. An otherworldly creature ran across the road right before their vehicle. In their own words, "We were driving home after turning on Carmel Road, which leads to our road. We went around the curve by the Carmel Church and then up a small incline, and approximately 10 feet over the incline and in front of our truck, the alien ran across the road and into the woods." The wife of the Marine goes on to give a detailed description with UFO researcher Ron McLawn. "My husband saw it. He is a skeptic, almost 60 years old, and a proud Marine. He wouldn't have admitted to seeing it if he hadn't been in shock. I had him draw it for me when we got to the house. He says it was asphalt gray. Our asphalt is gray, and about 7 feet tall. No arms that he could see at all, but muscular in the legs area. No jawline, and its legs were bent backwards and it leaned forward as it ran." The description brings to mind creatures from Silent Hill. Silent Hill being a PlayStation video game that some of you might be knowledgeable about. But to give you a clear idea, there are several monsters in the game series that seem to be covered in a straitjacket of flesh, with no facial features, and the arms seemingly non-existent. And this previous description can be somewhat applied to our feature creature. The creature we will now cover has very little history and absolutely no decisive folklore. But it is a cryptid that was brought into popular urban legend through a viral video. The Odyssey Online claims that the video dates back to the 1990s, though it was released to the public in 2007 by a man only known as Jose. The video in question was taken on a surveillance camera in South Fresno, California. Jose decided to put up a security camera above his garage because something was frightening his dogs consistently at night. Sure enough, after setting the cameras up, his dogs barked through the night. The following day, when he checked the footage, he found something quite bizarre. Crossing to his lawn were two short, pale, long-legged entities with no visible torso, arms, or any facial features. A practical man, it seems, at first he thought the creatures had to be a prank. After watching the footage several times, he failed to come to a conclusion and took the footage to the police, but they could offer no explanation. The creature was bipedal but seemed to lack an upper body. Instead, two legs were topped off by a bowling pin-like shape. The video would then make its way to a local television station. There is some controversy here. The video that was aired by the local network was not the original footage that Jose recorded. Allegedly, an unknown cameraman recorded the footage from a monitor, but Jose refused to share the footage due to fear of ridicule, since Univision, a Spanish TV network, didn't own the footage. It did not do an analysis of the video to see if it was a hoax. After the footage was aired, another Fresno resident came forward with footage of a similar creature walking out of someone's terrace and into the street. So, what was this creature? It's the Fresno Night Crawler. On July 22, 2010, the sci-fi channel Fact or Faked, a show based on debunking paranormal videos, had a segment on the Fresno Night Crawler.
Popular. This was recorded in Fresno in 2007. Let me cue it up because I think it speaks for itself.
Okay.
There's a creature coming
What
from the top
is
left of
that?
the screen. I don't know what it is, but it's not like any of the other cryptoids or Bigfoot or anything else we've seen before.
Look, you can almost see the little legs at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see its shadow as well. It's very long. Notice that it has a head.
I've never seen anything like this before.
Me neither.
It's weird. I don't know what else to call it.
Now, what's this one coming in here?
Oh my God!
There's a
What is
second
he doing?
Anatomically speaking, I've never seen anything that looks like either of these figures before.
No.
They drove out to the Fresno location and ran a series of experiments to try to replicate the footage on the actual property.
If it is a hoax, I have no idea how he created it. And that's what we're going to try to simulate tonight.
They dressed up a child in clothing that would simulate the looks of the crawler, but this failed to match the footage, and in fact, proved that the Nightcrawler was smaller than an 8-year-old. Then they moved onto an animatronic puppet, and though they got close to the right look, they failed to replicate the graceful movement on the original footage. They decided to investigate the surrounding area and set up shop in a meadow.
Maybe this could be something that's alive, that's living in this area.
Just north of here is an expansive wooded area. It's quite possible these creatures may be nearby.
In typical paranormal investigation form, they had odd occurrences that really were not odd at all.
Do you see my camera set up yet?
We can't see anything on our end. We're trying to hook up the other power source. Apparently the one we had up has some problems. Can you read me?
Copy, Larry. I'm gonna need a new battery for the walkie, actually. There's some weird stuff going on tonight. I went through 2 walkie batteries in 10 minutes. We have a battery that usually feeds all our cameras. That didn't turn on. I mean, there's definitely something weird going on out here.
All right, it's up and ready to go.
This area shouldn't have anything that's going to be interfering with our gear, at least not that I know of. We're going to see if there's a source we haven't documented that's causing all of our equipment to fail. We're going to do an EMF sweep to try to get baseline readings, and if there's buried conduit that we don't know about that's not documented, then we're going to use the metal detector to see if we can pick up that pipe.
We'll see in a bit.
All right, the metal detector went out.
It went out?
Yeah, this had a new battery in it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this thing's out now, too. My walkie-talkie died. The IR monitors won't power up, and now my metal detector won't work. Something in this area is definitely causing electronics to fail. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the creatures in the area that Jose reported is somehow causing our equipment to malfunction.
They captured something vague on an infrared camera.
There's something moving through those trees over there.
There's something moving. There's something moving, Bill. Look.
Actually, it's more than one. It's more than one.
And followed an unseen animal that was likely a deer into a pond.
I'm going to head over there. This is where they must have gone.
Look at this.
Something has been walking this path, and it's going right to the waterhole.
There was some sort of disturbance. It looks like it's, like something was treading through here.
Furthermore, they actually did a voice analysis of Jose as he told his story to look for deception, and apparently found none.
Long trip, huh?
Yeah.
So Fresno team, tell me about your investigation.
It started off with a really good witness interview, Jose, the homeowner.
Did Jose seem like a credible witness to you?
Most certainly. He was a great witness. I was able to run voice analysis on this interview, and I want you guys to see the results. Ben, if you could cue that up for me.
All right.
All right, he says he heard his dogs barking. He went, looked out his window, didn't see anything. This whole interview is just full of truth. There is some stress, there is excitement through this interview, but as we were interviewing him, he was literally shaking. What he thinks he saw, he doesn't know what it is, and it does scare him to death.
So you don't think that this could have been a hoax at all?
If it was, he wasn't in on it.
In the end, their conclusion is that the video was likely real, and that if it was a hoax, Jose was not in on it. The night crawlers wouldn't be confined just to Fresno. A few years after a video emerged from a Yosemite National Park security camera on March 2011. The apparent reason for the monitoring on this camera was the hope they would capture vandals who had been stealing and damaging private property. Instead, they caught the night crawlers. In the same hunting fashion, we can see the two small creatures, all legs, walking through the length of the video. The night crawlers in this particular video don't seem to have the same grace as their Fresno cousins. An interesting tidbit is that some of the Native American people around the surrounding areas of Fresno have an interesting take on the origin of these creatures. Again, allegedly. They claim that the creatures are very much real and have been on this planet for a great length of time. And they say the beings are extraterrestrial in nature. They are said to come from a planet that is swamp-like in nature. The long legs are meant to help them traverse boggy terrain with ease. What's the purpose for them coming to Earth? To help rebuild the connection between humans and nature. Though it does appear that at one point, the Nightcrawlers were part of their lore. At least that's the information most bloggers online would want you to believe. Wooden statues, allegedly carved by native people, are often shown in conjunction with the creature. 80% of YouTube videos on the subject use the statues. But the problem I had with this is I could not verify if these statues were carved by any native people. None of these videos offer a location for the wooden statues or the tribe that constructed them at all. You would think that the massive popularity of the Fresno Night Crawler would have made the statues just as famous. Furthermore, I just cannot find any actual folklore besides YouTube bloggers and other people reporting on the Nightcrawler. I cannot find any such inclination that native people actually spoke of creatures like this. If I have any listener out there that has found any credible evidence that the Native American peoples of the California region once believed in a creature that had no arms and long legs, please let me know. In 2017, another video of something resembling the Nightcrawler was released from across the sea. The camera used was likely a cell phone. The video is shaky and can't seem to stay on its subject to save its life. It also happens to only be 35 seconds long. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind that this video is fake. My main gripe with cell phone camera footage is that it's never longer than a minute. Now, personally, if I saw Bigfoot, Chupacabras, Loch Ness, etc., and I had my cell phone out, I would record at least a 5-minute video. And some of you might say, well, the creatures disappeared. Why would you keep recording? Because the excitement. Okay, I would turn the camera on myself even and be like, can you believe what I just got? But I digress. Ultimately, this is where things start to fall apart for the Nightcrawler. There is no concrete evidence at all of the creature, and the stories surrounding Jose actually vary by a lot. You see, the facts behind the original footage are that it was recorded by an off-the-shelf night vision security camera onto a VHS tape, then filmed off a television by a consumer-grade camcorder, worked on by a TV station, DVR'd by another person, digitized into a computer file, played from a laptop into a projector during a paranormal conference, and then recorded yet again by an audience member who then compressed the file and uploaded it to YouTube, therefore going viral. So what we have here is the video of a video of a video, etc. Where things get even dicier is that no one has the original VHS. The tape that would have had the highest resolution and therefore the cleanest view of the creature was quote-unquote accidentally deleted by Jose. So we are left with only the grainy video of a video of a video as evidence, therefore inviting the possibility of this being a hoax, if not solidifying it. Also, most blogs have Jose's account being that he didn't turn in the tape to anyone. In fact, the one I used in the beginning of this research actually had Jose saying it was taken without his permission and given to a local TV network. but there are a few accounts out there stating that he pestered Univision on at least 2 separate occasions to get coverage on television. On closer examination of the tape, if one focuses on the night crawlers as it leaves the frame, we see that the graceful movements suddenly become very stiff, computer animated like, and very quick without a noticeable motion blur. So does the night crawler exist? In my opinion, no. There seems to be no evidence that's reliable, and there are no eyewitness testimonies, unlike other cryptids, say like Bigfoot, who live in isolated regions and away from bad cell phone cameras, who yet still get caught by bad cell phone cameras. The Nightcrawler is taking strolls down the burbs, yet no other resident in Fresno has come forth in the recent years with eyewitness testimony, or even more blurry, shaky cell phone videos at least. Add to this that numerous YouTubers have managed to recreate compelling videos of the Nightcrawlers. Sorry Fact or Fake, but you dropped the ball on this one. Your attempts were pedestrian at best. Several YouTubers have managed to create videos that reproduce the creature quite well through computer animation. Also, a likely explanation for the Carmel Road monster is that in the dark winter night, the former Marine just mistook a deer standing on its hind legs for something else. If you haven't seen a deer standing on its hind legs, go search it now. You're missing out on a comical sight, but one that could easily fit the description of the Carmel Road monster if it was dark, a little hazy, and if the animal had moved quickly enough before landing on all fours again. Honestly, there's just no way around this for me. I'm like the prototypical investigator of the paranormal, Fox Mulder. I want to believe, but believe also requires proof. Thank you, Scully. The Chupacabras has a rich amount of history dating back to the 1970s. The Wendigo is part of a myth and a legend, and the sheer number of perplexing missing cases strongly implies something is afoot in our forest. The Loch Ness, though victim of numerous hoaxes as well, has compelling video evidence that has been analyzed and been deemed inconclusive. But the Fresno Night Crawler and the Carmel Road monster are both just one-offs, one-hit wonders. No credible reports have come in since their first sightings, and those sightings can easily be explained away. Add on to that the complex and contradicting story of Jose in the video, and the fact that we will never have the original and only a video of a video of a video. This time I have to say, when it comes to the Fresno Night Crawler, they do not exist.